You'll first need to remove the rear wheel, but make sure you drop it into the smallest cog on the cassette. This will make it easier to get the wheel in and out. You may have different styles of axle. You might need a 15mm spanner, you might have a quick release, or you might have a thru-axle. Once the wheel is out of the bike, make sure all the air is released from the tyre. And then you can start to unseat the bead by pressing the bead into the centre of the rim. With tubeless you need to be a little bit more careful so that none of the sealant pops out. Now you can use a tyre lever to start removing the first bead. If it's a tight fit you may need 2 tyre levers. Once the first part of the bead has come off, it should be easy to remove the rest of it. Once the first bead is off, you may want to remove any excess sealant that's in the bottom of the tyre to stop it spilling anywhere. The second bead now should come off a lot easier than the first. You'll need to clean off any sealant that's left on the rim in preparation for fitting the new tyre. This is also a good opportunity to check the condition of the tubeless rim tape and make sure there's no holes. Once the rim and valve are clean, you can start to fit the new tyre. Start fitting the first bead from opposite the valve and work the tyre around in the centre of the rim towards the valve. At this point, don't be tempted to pour sealant in and save that till afterwards. Follow the previous step to fit the second bead. Make sure you start again opposite the valve and work around towards it. Before you try to inflate the tyre, make sure that the beads aren't resting on top of the tubeless valve. Once the beads are either side, you can start to inflate the tyre. Be sure to check the maximum pressure on the tyre and the rim. As the tyre inflates, you'll hear pops and bangs as the bead seats itself. The deeper section the wheel, the louder the noise is. Once you've inflated, go round the edge of the rim and check the tyre is seated correctly. Once you know the tyre is seated correctly, you can then let the air back out of the tyre and remove the valve core. Now it's time to install the sealant through the valve stem. Check the manufacturer's recommendation because different size tyres need different amounts of sealant. Put the valve at 4 or 8 o'clock to put the sealant in. This will stop you spilling any. When you've finished putting the sealant in, wipe away any spilled sealant and refit the valve core. You can now inflate the tyre. Because the beads are still in place, this should be very simple and should re-inflate very easily. If the tyre is seated correctly, now it's time to remount the wheel in the bike. Wrap the chain around the cassette in the same position as you took it off. Because it's on the lowest cog, this will make it a lot easier and it will help guide the wheel into the position in the frame. Tighten the wheel up and give the wheel a spin to make sure everything's running true. Once you've done that, you're ready to ride.